YouTube, it's Missy, and today I'm going to share with you guys my Dewey's 24-hour readathon wrap-up, plus, my weekly wrap-up number 16. I had a lot of fun during this readathon. This is my first ever attempt at this readathon where I did really well. The last time, I think last October, I barely participated. It's very hard for me to sit down and focus on a whole bunch of books in 24 hours. Normally I like to read a little bit, then do something else, then read a little bit, but I did really well. I pushed through it and I got through almost everything that was on my TBR, so I'm super excited to share that with you guys today. The first book that I read was a graphic novel, and it was The Outcast by Kirkman and Asita. I can never pronounce that. This one I gave 3 stars. It was a little strange. It's about demonic possession, and in the beginning couple pages you learn about the main character. Kyle's his name. So at the beginning you see like a little boy, and then you see a mom, and she's becoming crazy, and so I think that is, the whole possession thing. And then you learn about Kyle, and that Kyle is special and that he is considered to be an outcast, and what is involved with being an outcast and how he relates to the people that are being possessed by demons and how he can help. This is the first one. This is Darkness Surrounds Him. So we just get a little bit of information about Kyle and what his abilities are. And then, of course, probably in volume 2, it'll be more in depth on Kyle helping others. But at the beginning, you just kind of meet Kyle, find out that he can help these people who are possessed, and that he had a rough life since he was a child, where his mom used to beat him. Like I said, overall, I gave it 3 stars. I really did enjoy the... Let me find something that's not super gruesome. Well, okay, here. So I enjoyed the panels, and the story took me kind of a long time to read because there was so much writing on each page. But I am interested in continuing on with the series. The next book that I read, I meant to get it, is The House of Usher. So let me get to the first page. Here we are. The Fall of the House of Usher. This was 14 pages long, super flowery. If you guys have read A Telltale Heart, that one is very easy to read. You get the gist of the story right away. The guy is crazy, that he doesn't like the man he's staying with. He's got a crazy eye. You know about what happens at the end. If you guys haven't read it, I don't want to spoil you on the story, but it's a very easy short story to read. This one, however, I remember reading it, like I said, in high school, and so when I reread it on Saturday, I was thinking, oh, I totally got it in high school, and this writing's making me really sleepy. Basically, it's about a man and his sister, and they're both ill in the house that they live in, and then a friend comes to help the man, while he's sick. He stays there for a month, and he witnesses some really crazy stuff that happens. So in 14 pages, I want to say 10 of those pages is just flowery writing of descriptions, super, Edgar Allan Poe style, and then you get to the point of the story and what it all means. I enjoyed it for the most part. I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars. I love Edgar Allan Poe, and even though his writing does take a long time, he has a million run-on sentences, I still enjoy the way he writes. It's always so morbid and gloomy, and so yeah, I liked it. I needed to take a small break while I was reading the Fall of the House of Usher, so I did take a quick 30-minute nap, and then I plowed through the rest of that story, and then I decided I would pick up another graphic novel, and this one is American Vampire. It's written by Scott Snyder and Stephen King, and then it was illustrated by Raphael Albuquerque. I was so excited when I read the very beginning of the book because right here it says, "Suck on this." Kind of like an interview written by Stephen King talking about how he got started with Scott Snyder and why he participated in writing this graphic novel. And in each, it was super interesting. And then each chapter, you have 2 separate stories, but they flowed so well. Like Scott wrote chapter 1, and then Stephen King wrote chapter 2, and then they just, you know, switched 3, 4, 5, 6. But you can't even tell that 2 separate people wrote it. They just did such a good job at meshing both of their styles together. I absolutely loved the graphics. There was hardly any, well, there is writing in here, but it took me, I want to say, like an hour and a half to read this. And it's not that long, but I was just so, I was loving all of the pictures. It's super, super gruesome. The vampires are very vampire-y, you know, like they're there to kill you. And this is about a hybrid vampire that can walk in the daylight. And so what that hybrid does between 1880 to 1925 and what shenanigans happens from the hybrid and the little war that's going on between the hybrid and the original vampire clan, the Europeans that came over during the Wild West days. And now in the present, it's the swing era. And so we get, you know, the back and forth of it. And what's really cool is this man here, he's the narrator. And basically he's telling this whole story verbally to an audience, letting them know that, you know, what he wrote as fiction is actually real, and he wants them to really know about it since, you know, he's getting old and he's going to die soon. So very, very interesting. I absolutely loved it. I gave this 5 stars. I cannot wait to get volume 2. Great writers, great illustrators, great story. Just the vampires are scary, and that's what you want in a vampire book, and I loved it. And then the day was coming close. It was getting closer to the end of the readathon. It was about 7 o'clock, I think, when I started my next book. And that was The Fall by Bethany Griffin. And I already had finished the original, and so I was super excited to get started with this one. And the main character in here is Lady Madeline. She's the sister of the original. You know, in the original, the brother calls the friend and tells the friend to come and stay with him because he's sick and he needs company. And this is her story, the sister's story. And I am like amazed at how much Bethany has gotten out of just that tiny 14-page story. Like, this story's not short. It's 420 pages. I am enjoying it so far. It's fast-paced but slow at the same time, if that makes sense. Each chapter is about 3 pages long. It jumps from her childhood from 9, and then it'll go to like 17, which is the present, and then it'll go to 12, and then it'll go to 16, and then it'll go... So it jumps around a lot. It's just giving you stories about Madeline and how she was growing up in the House of Usher, because she is an usher. I read exactly 50% of this book. And by that time it was around 10, oh, what is it now? No. It was like 11 o'clock by the time I got through half of it. And I decided, since I only had about 2.5 to 3 hours left of the readathon, I would switch it up and get to my last graphic novel. So I put this book down and I read 5 Ghosts by Frank Barbary and Chris Mooneyham. Again, I would give this a 3-star, 2.5, 3-star. It wasn't my favorite because the storyline was kind of slow, if you get me. Five Ghosts is about Fabian Gray. He is a detective, I believe. See, the book was kind of boring, so I didn't really understand it. And there's not that much words. There's a lot of pictures, but not that much words. Let me just show you a picture. It's pretty cool. These things kind of messed me up because it was like a kind of a weird font to have, but I guess that's what they look like when you have it in comic book form instead of graphic novel form. So anyways, Dorian Gray is a detective, and he has like 5 ghosts that surround his aura that kind of help him defeat bad guys. And so that was really weird. And then there's another like villain guy who wants to steal Fabian's 5 ghosts to give the bad guy more power, because when you have ghosts, like their energy, then you're powerful. I'm sure volume 2 will be a lot more unconfusing. Is that a word? This was confusing, and in volume 2 it might be less confusing. That's how you say it. I like the drawings. I don't know. It was really fast read. There's like barely any, like this one doesn't have any words at all. There's no words on this picture or on this page. So yeah, it was really, really quick. It only took me 40 minutes to read this, but I gave it 3 stars because I did like the pictures, the illustrations, and I'm hoping that, you know, the next volume will be a lot better. So by that time by the time I was finished reading 5 Ghosts, it was about 12:30, and I decided to call it. I didn't want to pick up the fall again because I was getting sleepy, and I had read pretty consistently throughout the entire day. You know, I did have to do like make lunch and dinner and breakfast and all that and stuff, but those were the 5 books that I wanted to read during the Readathon, and I did read all 5, maybe not all of the fall, but I did get half of it done, which I'm really proud of. And so that was it. That was my entire weekly wrap-up, because those are the only books that I have read last week. And so, did you participate in the Readathon? Let me know down below if you read all the books that you wanted to, what your strategies are for reading a lot in 24 hours. I am interested because I just, you know, kept up. I just stayed with one book until it was over. Then I took a little break, and then I picked up another book, and then I took a little break. I didn't like read from each book throughout the day. I just stuck with one until I was completed, you know, until the book was completed. Words. I do want to share with you guys really quick what I'm planning on reading this week. So I want to finish the fall. I actually read about, I don't know, like 50, 60 pages after, like yesterday. So I'm going to finish the fall. I also want to finish, I also plan on trying to finish the After House by Michael Philip Cash. I am 17% in this book right now. And then I want to start and hopefully finish 6 Feet Over It by Jennifer Longo. Is it Longo? Yeah, Longo. This is like a comedic contemporary about a girl who lives at a cemetery, or her parents work for the cemetery and she has to help work with them at the cemetery. It seems like it's going to be really funny, and I am very interested in reading it. So those are the 3 books and I'm also listening to Sweet Evil on audio. So I'm really, really liking that. I'm already about 45% in. I'm like chapter 10, and it is so good so far. I really, really like it. It is definitely ear candy. It's so good. I am really enjoying the narrator of this book, and I can't wait to finish it because I'm listening to it on the way to work and home from work. I can't wait to finish it and get on to the second one. I'm actually really excited. I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy these books in physical form because they are so fast-paced, and the story is not dull. It's so good.
Let me say something really quick. Why is it that the bad guys are always British? Because I know us American girls, well, maybe some of us, I know me personally, I am a fan of any accent, really, but English people speak so sexy. I just love it, and to have the bad boy speak in an English accent makes sense, because not only is he bad, but, you know, he sounds sexy at the same time. So that's probably the reason why the author made him British. I don't know. But you also have, like, Noah from Mardyr, who is British, and then I'm trying to think of, like, all these other, like, bad boys that are British. I've read a lot of books that have a bad boy that is British. And so, but Noah's the only one, Noah Shaw is the only one I can think of right now because I know his name, because I was obsessed with him during book 1 and 2. But yeah, let me know down below if you know another book that has an English bad boy. I think that's funny. That's like a stereotype, right? Bad guy that's, with an accent. Yet, when you hear British girls talking about English boys, British and English, same thing, right? When you hear about them talking about their guys over there, they say that they are very shy and reserved. So, it doesn't make sense. It's like we are forcing our guy ideals onto British boys because they have accents that are hot. Does that make sense? Anyways,
I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching and coming and listening to me, you know, ramble all the time. I really appreciate it because I love you guys so much. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good week. Bye.